We are living through the greatest shift in the history of technology. This is the iPhone moment of artificial intelligence, but even that comparison doesn't do it justice. We are witnessing a new industrial revolution. In the first industrial revolution, the raw materials were water and steam, and we learned to turn them into mechanical power. In this revolution, the raw materials are data and electricity, and we are turning them into the most valuable commodity in human history, intelligence. For the last 60 years, we have been in the era of general-purpose computing. We built software to run on CPUs, we followed the steady, predictable march of Moore's Law, and we expected that every 18 months, things would simply get faster and cheaper. But that era has ended. The physics of the universe has caught up with the traditional way of building computers. You cannot just throw more power at a central processor and expect a miracle anymore. We have hit a wall, and that wall is made of heat, energy, and the fundamental limits of silicon. At NVIDIA, we saw this wall coming 20 years ago. We realized that if we wanted to continue the march of progress, we had to move to accelerated computing. We had to offload the hardest, most parallel tasks to a specialized processor, the GPU. But accelerated computing isn't just about the chip, it's about the full stack. You have to reinvent everything from the silicon to the systems to the software. This journey led us to CUDA, and CUDA led us to the modern era of artificial intelligence. We are moving from a world where we write software to a world where we train software. This is a fundamental change in how intelligence is manufactured. In the old world, the human was the programmer. In the new world, data is the programmer, and the computer is the factory. This brings me to the core of my vision for the world today: sovereign AI. For decades, the world has operated on a model where data was exported, processed elsewhere, and intelligence was imported back. That model is obsolete. Your data is your natural resource. It is your culture, your language, your history, and your economic future. You cannot export your data to have it turned into intelligence by someone else. You must manufacture your own intelligence. This is why NVIDIA is working so deeply with nations like India and Japan. These are not just markets for us, they are partners in building a new kind of civilization. Let's talk about India. India is in a unique position. For the last 30 years, India has been the back office of the world. India has the largest population of developers on the planet, but the goal of India today is not to be the back office. It is to be the AI factory of the world. Think about the first principles here. India has a massive talent pool, a rich diversity of languages, and a digital public infrastructure that is the envy of the world. When I met with Prime Minister Modi, he understood this immediately. He understands that India's data must stay in India to empower India's people. We are helping India build its own AI infrastructure. We are partnering with companies like Reliance, Tata, and Yotta to build massive AI factories powered by the Blackwell architecture. These are not just data centers. These are refineries. We are taking the vast amounts of data generated by 1.4 billion people, data in Hindi, Bengali, Tamil, and dozens of other languages, and using it to train models that understand the nuance of Indian life. If you want to build an AI that helps an Indian farmer or an Indian small business owner, that AI must be trained on Indian data. It must understand the local context. But building this infrastructure is an impossible problem. It requires a level of compute power and energy efficiency that was unthinkable just a few years ago. This is where accelerated computing becomes a moral imperative. If we tried to build India's AI future on traditional CPUs, the energy cost would be catastrophic. By using NVIDIA's GPUs, we are reducing the energy footprint of AI by orders of magnitude. We are making it possible for India to scale its intelligence without depleting its resources. This is the more you buy, the more you save principle in action. However, technology alone is not enough. You need the resilience to see the vision through. At NVIDIA, our character was forged in the fire of near extinction. In 1997, we were 30 days from bankruptcy. We had failed with our first architecture, and we were down to our last few $1 million. I had to go to our partners and admit we were wrong. I had to show extreme humility. That experience taught us that we are always 30 days from going out of business. It taught us to run, don't walk. That sense of urgency is what we bring to our work in India. The window of opportunity for India to lead the AI revolution is open, but it won't stay open forever. India must move with incredible speed. We are not just providing chips to India, we are providing a platform. We are helping train hundreds of thousands of Indian developers in CUDA and AI. We are bringing our Omniverse platform to Indian industries so they can build digital twins of their factories and cities. Imagine an Indian manufacturing plant that is simulated in the virtual world before a single brick is laid. Every movement, every robot, every assembly line is optimized in the Omniverse. This is how India will jumpstart its next phase of industrial growth. Now let's look at Japan. Japan is a nation with a deep industrial DNA. Japan has always been the leader in robotics and precision engineering, but Japan has also faced challenges in the digital era. For a long time, Japan was a hardware leader that struggled with the software shift. But in the era of physical AI, Japan's hardware expertise is its greatest advantage. Everything that moves will eventually be autonomous. This is the next great wave of AI. It's not just about AI in a box, it's about AI in the physical world. It's about humanoid robots, autonomous factories, and self-driving cars. This is where Japan shines. We are working with Japan's industrial giants, companies like Fanuc, Kawasaki, and SoftBank, to integrate AI into the very fabric of their machinery. Japan's challenge, much like India's, is to reclaim its sovereignty over its data. Japan has a unique language and a unique culture that cannot be fully captured by models trained in the West. Japan needs its own large language models built by Japanese companies on Japanese supercomputers. This is why we are partnering with SoftBank and others to build the most powerful AI supercomputers in Japan's history. These machines will be the engines of Japan's rebirth as a global tech powerhouse. To achieve this, we apply a longitudinal strategy. We don't look at things quarter by quarter. We look at the arc of technology over decades. We ask ourselves, what will the world look like in 10 years, and what do we need to start building today to be ready for it? This long-term perspective is only possible if you have a foundation of extreme resilience. You have to be able to weather the storms of the market and the criticisms of the skeptics. This resilience is built through a very specific kind of company culture. People are often shocked when they learn how I run NVIDIA. I don't have a hierarchy of vice presidents and middle managers who filter information before it gets to me. I have 50 direct reports, 50. In any other company, that would be considered a disaster. But I do it because I want the organization to be flat. I want to be as close to the ground as possible. I want to hear the truth from the engineers who are actually building the future. In a flat organization, there is nowhere to hide. You can't rely on a title to protect you. You have to rely on your ideas and your ability to solve problems. This creates a culture of radical transparency. It's a culture where the best idea wins, not the person with the highest rank. This is how we are able to move so fast in India and Japan. We don't have layers of bureaucracy slowing us down. When we see an opportunity to help a Japanese robotics company or an Indian startup, we act immediately. We choose to work on the impossible problems because that is where the most value is created. Building a humanoid robot is impossible. Building a national AI factory is impossible. But we do it anyway. We do it because the work of our lives is to build things that didn't exist before. We want to do the work that, if we don't do it, would simply never happen. I often tell students, I wish you enough pain and suffering. I mean that with the utmost sincerity. Resilience is the most important skill you can have in the AI era. The smartest people don't always win. The people who win are the ones who can endure the most pain. The ones who can look at a devastating failure and say, what did we learn and how do we go again? India and Japan are nations that understand this. Japan has rebuilt itself from the ground up. India is a nation that has overcome immense challenges to become a global leader. They have the resilience, they have the character, now they have the tools. The transition to accelerated computing is the logical, irrefutable conclusion of the laws of physics. As the cost of intelligence drops towards zero, the world will change in ways we cannot imagine. But this transformation requires energy. It requires us to rethink the very nature of the data center. The AI factory of 2026 will not look like the data center of 2010. It will be an integrated machine of compute, networking, and power. We are currently helping Japan and India build these machines. We are helping them navigate the complexities of liquid cooling, high-speed interconnects like NVLink, and the massive scale of the Blackwell architecture. We are showing them that the path to prosperity is through the manufacture of intelligence. Intelligence is the engine of the new industrial revolution. And for nations like India and Japan, this engine must be built on their own soil. When we talk about sovereign AI, we are talking about the most fundamental right of a nation in the 21st century, the right to own its own digital destiny. For too long, the world has operated on a colonial model of data. Raw data was extracted from one place, refined into intelligence in another, and then sold back to the original source. That model cannot survive the era of generative AI. Your data is your collective intelligence. It is the footprint of your society. If you don't build the factories to process it, you are essentially letting your future be written by someone else's algorithms. In Japan, this realization is driving a massive reinvestment in domestic compute power. Japan is a nation of builders. You have given the world the most precise machines, the most reliable cars, and the most advanced robotics. But a robot without AI is just a programmed machine. It can only do what it was told to do. It cannot learn. It cannot adapt. It cannot reason through a new situation. To maintain its leadership in manufacturing, Japan must marry its hardware excellence with generative AI. This is what we call physical AI. It is AI that understands the laws of physics, AI that can operate in a world of atoms. We are helping Japanese companies like Toyota and Honda turn their vehicles into autonomous robots. We are helping Fanuc and Kawasaki turn their factory arms into intelligent agents that can learn a new task just by watching a human. Think about the first principles of Japan's challenge. Japan has an aging population and a shrinking workforce. In the old world of general-purpose computing, that was an unsolvable economic problem. But in the world of accelerated computing and AI, it is a $0 billion market waiting to be ignited. If you can create a digital workforce of humanoid robots and autonomous systems, you can maintain your industrial output even as your human population changes. Japan isn't just building AI for the sake of technology. They are building AI to preserve their way of life. They are using Blackwell and Omniverse to create a digital twin of their entire society, simulating everything from disaster response to traffic flow. In India, the challenge and the opportunity are the exact mirror image. India has the youngest, most vibrant workforce on the planet. You have millions of engineers graduating every year. In the era of traditional software, India became the global leader in services. But the next wave of wealth creation in India will not come from providing services for others. It will come from creating products for the world. We are working with the Indian government and private giants to ensure that every Indian developer has access to the world's most powerful AI infrastructure. We want to turn India into the AI foundry of the world. The first principles of India's AI revolution are built on scale. When you have 1.4 billion people, you have a diversity of data that is unparalleled. If you can train a model on the 22 scheduled languages of India, you are building a model that understands the complexity of the human experience better than any model trained only on English. We are helping India build these sovereign LLMs. We are helping them build the AI factories that will allow an Indian startup to solve an Indian problem like agricultural optimization or rural healthcare using an Indian AI. This is why we are deploying our full stack in India, from the HGX systems to our NIM microservices. But let's be clear, building this is hard. It is painful. It requires a level of investment and a level of risk that most people are not comfortable with. People often ask me why NVIDIA is so successful today. They think it was an overnight success because of the AI boom. They don't see the 15 years we spent building CUDA when no one cared. They don't see the billions of dollars we spent on R&D for networking and interconnects when everyone else was focused only on the CPU. We were willing to be misunderstood for a long time. We were willing to suffer through the years where our vision was called a niche. That resilience is what I hope to see in our partners in India and Japan. You cannot wait for the technology to be easy. If it's easy, it's a commodity. You have to tackle the problems that nobody else wants to touch. You have to choose the impossible path. At NVIDIA, we have a culture that thrives on this. Our flat structure is designed to keep us close to the impossible. I don't want a layer of managers telling me that everything is fine. I want to know where the Blackwell chips are hitting a thermal wall. I want to know where the InfiniBand networking is bottlenecking. I want to know the truth of the physics, because the truth is the only place where you can find a solution. This is the full stack philosophy. To help India and Japan, we can't just sell them a chip. We have to help them build the system. We have to help them build the software libraries. We have to help them build the ecosystem of developers. This is an enormous task. It is the work of our lives. But it is also the only way to ensure that the benefits of the AI revolution are not concentrated in one or two companies, but are distributed across the entire world. We are currently living through the end of the general-purpose computing era. The law of Moore has reached its limit. You can see it in the power consumption of traditional data centers. You can see it in the stalling performance of the CPU. If we try to power the future of India and Japan using 20th century computing models, we will fail. We will run out of energy and we will run out of time. Accelerated computing is the only path forward. It is the only way to get a 100x increase in performance with a 10x decrease in energy. It is the more you buy, the more you save principle applied to the survival of nations. By 2026, the AI factories we are building today will be the hearts of these national economies. You will see made in India and made in Japan intelligence powering every aspect of life. You will see autonomous drones managing Indian farms. You will see humanoid robots working in Japanese factories. You will see medical AI that was trained on Japanese genetic data, providing personalized cures for Japanese citizens. This is not a dream. It is a mathematical certainty if we keep running, and we must run. Run, don't walk toward this future. Do not wait for a better time to innovate. Do not wait for the safe path. There is no safe path in a revolution. The only safety is in speed. The only security is in sovereignty. Japan and India have the opportunity right now to redefine their place in the world. They have the talent, they have the data, and they have the resilience. NVIDIA is here to provide the engine, but you must be the ones to drive it. The work we are doing together is about more than just business. It is about human empowerment. It is about creating a world where every person, regardless of where they are born, has access to the most powerful intelligence ever created. It is about solving the impossible problems of our time: climate change, disease, energy, by amplifying the human brain with the AI factory. But to get there, we must remain humble. We must remember that we are always 30 days from going out of business. We must remember the lessons of the Riva 128 and the Denny's kitchen. We must remember that character is built in the struggle. I wish for our partners in India and Japan the same doses of pain and suffering that we have experienced, because that is the only way you will build the character to lead this new industrial revolution. You have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to be humiliated. You have to be willing to stand alone on your vision until the world catches up. The future is not something that happens to us. It is something we build. It is something we forge in the fire of our collective effort. We are the architects of the most significant shift in human history. We are moving from the era of calculation to the era of reasoning. We are moving from the era of tools to the era of partners. And in this new era, the nations that run the fastest will be the ones that shape the destiny of humanity. Japan has the robotics, India has the developers, NVIDIA has the accelerated compute. Together, we are building the future of intelligence. As we close this keynote, I want to thank the people of India and Japan for their partnership and their vision. We are at the beginning of a long and difficult journey, but I have never been more optimistic about what we can achieve. If you believe in this vision of sovereign AI, if you are ready to run, don't walk toward the next era of human progress, please subscribe to the channel and like this video. It helps us spread this message to more builders and visionaries around the world. And most importantly, I want to hear from you. What are the impossible problems you are trying to solve in your corner of the world? How can AI help you protect your culture and grow your economy? Leave your questions and your thoughts in the comments below. I, Jensen, will be reading them, and I will respond to your comments as quickly as I can. Let's make this a global conversation about the future of intelligence. The conclusion of this revolution is logical and irrefutable. The manufacture of intelligence is the most important industry of the 21st century. The nations that own their own AI will lead, and the nations that don't will be dependent. Now, let's go build the future. Run, don't walk. Thank you.